What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Before we start, can we just appreciate how absolutely terrible I am at actually planning these builds? Look at the fish farm I have been trying to build. It's been half done for like 2 videos. The goal today is to build a small fisherman house for my fish farm. Let's see how far it goes. But now I'm just stuck. I have the basic idea for the fish farm from a Silent Whisperer video, but actually finishing the house around it, my brain has just completely shut off. Anyway, I figured while I procrastinate on that some more, we could read some Reddit stories. I've got some Am I the Asshole posts, some malicious compliance, and some not usual stories. Hopefully it'll be a good distraction. Thanks for watching, and let's get into the first one. Alright, the first story is from the subreddit r/Am I the Asshole. It reads, Am I the asshole for giving my pregnant GF an ultimatum? My GF, Jen, and I have been together for 4 years. Back in April, 2 great things happened. We found out Jen is pregnant, and I closed on a house for us to move into. Our family and friends know about the pregnancy, including Jen's best childhood friend, Amanda. I will admit, I never liked the dynamic between Ananda and Jen, but it did not really affect our relationship since Amanda lived across the country. After finding out about the pregnancy, Amanda decided to move back home. We live in Jen and Amanda's hometown. Amanda has been back since late May, and all hell has broken loose. Jen has always felt a little self-conscious in our relationship. I work construction and do personal training. She feels intimidated by small girls, but I have no idea how. She is a sexy AF woman with amazing curves. Amanda has done nothing but played into Jen's insecurities and anxieties since being back. Jen and I have never been the tracking location couple or looking through phone couples. We always considered that a red flag in a relationship. Amanda has convinced Jen that she needs to start doing that. So, she has been looking through my phone regularly and finding nothing. I have communicated my hurt and frustration and that I think she needs to distance herself from Amanda. She kept rebuffing my concerns. About 2 weeks ago, Jen again asked to look through my phone. I told her in no uncertain terms that this will be the last time she looks through my phone. If she again sees nothing suspicious, then she needs to agree to go to counseling and distance herself from Amanda. She agreed, looked through my phone, and found nothing suspicious. But she soon reneged on her promise to do counseling and distancing herself from Amanda. I decided to move out. We are currently on a month-to-month lease in an apartment until renovations get done on the house I bought. I'm staying with a friend until the house is ready, and then I will move in alone. Jen has asked me to reconsider. I refuse. She will likely need to move in with her mother, which is not ideal given the limited space, which I feel terrible about for my child.
Man, this one's tough because there's a baby involved, which just makes everything so much more complicated. But honestly, I don't think this guy is the asshole here. Amanda sounds absolutely toxic. Moving back just when her friend gets pregnant and immediately starts planting seeds of doubt? That's not coincidence. That's just manipulation. But dude, she's pregnant with your kid and you just moved out? I get that she lied about the counseling thing, but she's carrying your baby and now has to move in with her mom because of limited space? I mean, I'd probably be going insane if my girlfriend was going through my phone constantly. It just breeds more paranoia. But here's the thing. Pregnant women do get paranoid sometimes. It's hormones, it's fear, it's a lot of things. I don't know, man. But you're about to be parents together. You can't just leave because her toxic friend is in her ear. Maybe the move out was necessary to get her attention, but this feels like it could have been handled better. Bottom line, toxic friends suck. Pregnant partners can be difficult, but you're both about to be parents. Time to put the baby first and figure this out like adults.
Y'all right, a quick update on the game. So yeah, this is pretty much my life right now. Just mindlessly mining out this little cave to get cobblestone. I'm trying to patch up the roof of the fisherman's house with dirt for now, so it doesn't look completely awful from a distance, but it's not great. The plan is to smelt all this cobblestone down into smooth stone, and then turn that into stone bricks for the actual build.
This whole area is basically just gonna be my personal cobblestone quarry whenever I need it. Super exciting stuff, I know. Alright, moving on to the second story of today. This one is from the subreddit r/am I overreacting. It reads, Am I overreacting? My ex-wife and her new husband legally made their last name my full fucking name. You cannot make this shit up. I was married once. My ex-wife blew it all to hell by cheating on me with one of my closest friends. That betrayal crushed me. But whatever, I rebuilt. She kept my last name after the divorce. Weird, but I let it go. Fast forward. She marries the guy she cheated with. Fine. Closure. Good for them. But here's where it goes off the rails. Her new husband's last name is the same as my first name. So when they hyphenated, their big shiny new married surname is now my entire fucking legal name. Imagine your name is David Carter. The guy she cheats with is named John David. They marry, hyphenate, and proudly announce themselves as Mr. and Mrs. David Carter, which is literally your name. They're on Facebook, smiling, posting, "Here's to the new official Mr. and Mrs. David Carter." Meanwhile, I'm staring at my phone thinking, holy fuck, my ex-wife and her affair partner just legally rebranded themselves as me. And no, my name isn't common. People are going to see it and assume it's me. So tell me, am I losing my mind here, or is this just as completely fucked up as it feels? Edit. I am not on their social media. A mutual acquaintance sent me a screenshot with the adjoining text, "What the fuck is wrong with them?" What? Ugh. There's no way that's a coincidence. The audacity is actually impressive. They literally turned themselves into a walking reminder of you. But you know what? Someone just pointed out in the comments a different way to look at this, and it's actually kind of brilliant. It's a win for you, man. You're a constant reminder, a ghost that's gonna haunt their marriage. Think about it. Every single time she signs her name, every time someone calls her Mrs. David Carter, who's she gonna think of? You. Whether she wants to or not. Yeah, they're in the honeymoon phase now, so it's all fun and games. But just wait until their first big fight. Wait until one of them cheats again. Your name is going to be the elephant in the room forever. And the best part? You get an insane, objectively hilarious story to tell. And you actually get to move on with your life. They don't. They literally made moving on impossible for themselves. That's not a loss. That's the longest, pettiest, long game win I've ever heard of. Let's move on to the next story while I keep wandering around down here. It is from the subreddit r/pettyrevenge. It reads, MIL doesn't respect food boundaries, gets hit with a fart machine. To preface, I love my mother-in-law and value and appreciate everything she does for my family. But she really leans into her role as a grandmother and has said, I'm a grandma, I can do whatever I want, whenever we ask her to respect our food choices for our kid. This means spoiling her grandkids with sweets and treats against her kids' wishes at every width. Her kitchen has full cookie drawers at all times. I once watched her give my 8-year-old nephew a full angle food cake just to see what he would do. Spoiler, he ate the full thing and then got sick. So over the weekend we're staying at her house and my 3.5-year-old son is very well aware that she'll give him whatever he wants. It's breakfast time and he's asking for ice cream and cookies, to which I say no and redirect him to his banana and yogurt. She gives him the chocolate chip cookies anyway and I say, I'd appreciate you not feeding my son cookies before 8:30 in the morning. She just smiles and says, oh come on, let him live a little. Later that morning, my wife and I are out shopping at one of those beach/tchotchke stores. It's a coastal town, you know the type. And I overhear someone else say, who would want a fart noisemaker on a keychain? Well, this guy. My MIL absolutely hates potty humor, and my son is a 3.5-year-old boy, so yeah, farts are the funniest thing in his world right now. I bring it home and it goes exactly as I predicted. She hates it and he loves it. but she can't say anything because she sees how much he's enjoying himself. The thing has 6 different noises and he's absolutely laying into, having a blast, and all around cackling. So my MIL is grumbling about how disgusting it is and how she hopes it breaks. And I just shoot her a grin and say, "Oh, come on, let him live a little." Okay, I love this. This is petty revenge at its absolute finest. Look, the whole grandma's spoil kids thing is fine to a point, but this mother-in-law is on another level. Giving an 8-year-old an entire cake just to see him get sick? That's not cute, that's just reckless. Ugh. And the cookies for breakfast, after the parent already said no? The audacity. Let him live a little is the classic grandma get out of jail free card. But the OP of this story, he sees a keychain fart machine and the light bulb just goes off. Brilliant. Absolutely strategic. The kid loves it, she hates it, and then he drops the bomb. Her own words. Oh, come on. Let him live a little. Ugh. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You can't even be mad at it. That's what you get. You don't respect someone's boundaries. You get to listen to a fart machine for the rest of the day. A masterclass in petty parenting warfare. Alright, so I'm just gathering an obscene amount of oak logs right now. I'm probably going to need way more than this knowing me, but yeah, the plan is to use all this for that fisherman's house I started. Hopefully I'll have enough for the walls and the support beams for the deck. I should be moving on the next story. This one is from the subreddit r/malicious compliance. It reads, "Manager told us we had to do the dress code to the letter, so I did, to the letter. I used to work at a company that had a business casual dress code. It was always sort of ambiguous. People wore polo shirts, button-down shirts, blouses, slacks, whatever. No one cared as long as you looked tidy. Then we got a new manager. In his first week, he sends out an all-staff email. From now on, the dress code is to be followed verbatim as written in the handbook. No exceptions. All right. I dug out the dusty employee handbook and really read the dress code. It hadn't been updated since the late 90s. It was very specific. Men, dress shirt, tie, slacks, and jacket. Women, knee-length skirt, nylons, blouse, and closed-toe shoes. No polos, no cardigans, no khakis. The next Monday, I showed up in a suit and tie. I hardly ever wear jackets to work, so everyone right away noticed. And then other individuals started reading the handbook too, because after all, the boss read it precisely as written. The office was a time capsule by Wednesday. Faux worker was wearing shoulder pads and nylons in the August heat. Another guy pulled out his wedding gear. Someone even showed up at work with suspenders because the handbook allows it. Half of the staff sweated buckets because we weren't allowed to take our jackets off our bodies when sitting at our desks. HR was not happy. So they got a few complaints of hostile working conditions due to the imposed dress code. 1 week later, we got a new message. Use common sense in following the dress code. Business casual, as done before, is fine. Polos and khakis were once again in style. And our manager never brought up the handbook again. Oh, I love this. This is my favorite kind of story. So the new manager comes in on a power trip, right? Follow the dress code verbatim. Famous last words. He didn't even bother to check what was in the handbook. Rookie mistake. And then the whole office just goes for it. Shoulder pads, nylons in the summer heat, wedding suits. It's beautiful. That's teamwork right there. The guy who wore suspenders is my hero. Just finding those little loopholes. And of course, HR gets involved and shuts the whole thing down. You love to see it. The manager tried to flex and got completely humbled. That's what you get. You want to enforce the rules to the letter? Fine, we'll follow them to the letter. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The next story of today is from the subreddit r/bestofredditor-updates. It's a long read, so hold tight. It reads, "Wrongly accused my husband of infidelity. Turns out he was hiding his erectile dysfunction instead. FML." So the OP here is a 33-year-old female and her husband is 36 male.
We've been together for 12 years and married for 8. I noticed that my husband's sex drive has been non-existent for the past few months, which was very bothersome considering we went from sex multiple times a week to no sex at all within a week. He also put a password on his phone and began guarding both his phone and his computer a lot more. He would type and click furiously while the screen was pointed away from me, but the second I'd walk up next to him, he'd switch to Netflix or something like that. I also noticed that he became much less physically affectionate with me. To me, everything pointed to infidelity. I've never been cheated on before, to my knowledge, so I could have been over-paranoid, but I don't think it was illogical to assume that something shady was going on behind my back. So this morning, I saw him crouched over his laptop on the sofa, doing more of his furious typing and clicking, so I reached over and grabbed his laptop to see what he was doing. He panicked and knocked the laptop out of my hands onto the floor. I was just shocked and disgusted. At that point, I was so sure he was having an affair. I told him that I could not believe he would betray my trust like that, and I told him to get out of our house. We got into a huge argument that primarily consisted of me cutting off his explanation attempts with nasty insults. Once he calmed me down and explained everything, he showed me his 5-page Google Doc with all of his links detailing methods to deal with erectile dysfunction. And he showed me all of the text messages he sent to his brother about this. He's very upset that I think he's capable of cheating, and he did end up leaving the house to stay with a friend because he wanted time alone to clear his head. I made an awfully big mess for myself, and I don't know how to repair things. OP has left an update about the same. Let me read that out first. Update. I am deeply grateful for the people that assisted me in researching my husband's condition. Thank you. This update certainly isn't comprehensive, and things are far from resolved, but I figured I owed this to the few people that did legitimately contribute. My husband came back at around 9 p.m. He left at 10 a.m. on Monday. Once I found out that ED was linked to heart issues, I started freaking out, because his family has a history with cardiovascular disease. I think that was the reason he came back home. As I researched more about ED, I furiously texted him like 100 times and left him dozens of voicemails begging him to at least go to a medical professional to get himself checked, even if he still didn't want to talk to me. But instead, he came home and told me he had been meeting with his doctor, who said there was no indication that his ED was linked to heart disease. I hugged him, cried a little bit, and apologized profusely for everything. I had been extremely worried about his family's past with cardiovascular problems, so hearing that a trained medical professional did not find any issues yet gave me a lot of strength. He comforted me and offered me a chance to explain everything from my perspective, so I did. I started by telling him that I knew I was to blame for our situation, and that I would never be able to justify my breakdown. But I really wanted him to know the reasoning behind my thought process. I told him how awful these past few months have been for me. I told him how hurt I was when I spent hours making his favorite dinner, lighting up candles, and dolling myself in new lingerie, just to have him come home and head straight to the couch without even acknowledging me. I told him how unloved and hurt I felt once I realized he was reusing excuses to not have sex with me. I told him I was vulnerable, and I let my insecurities get the better of me. I even told him about this subreddit and about all of the horror stories I've read on here. I also told him that more than anything, I love him, and I will do whatever it takes to repair our marriage. I offered him my unconditional support with his ED, and agreed to go to any therapy or counseling that he deems necessary. He squeezed my hand and apologized to me. He explained that he did not want me to lose respect for him as a man, and I let him know that I didn't respect him any less because of his ED. We both agreed that we hurt the other, but we also agreed that we love each other very much, and we want this marriage to work. So, we're working on it and his ED together. The specifics of that don't really matter, but no, we did not break up over this. Man, this one's just sad all around. I mean, from her side, I get it. The secretive phone, the sudden dead bedroom, those are all the classic signs. It's easy to let your mind go there, especially with all the horror stories you read online. Jumping straight to grabbing the laptop and screaming at him? That's rough. That's a huge breakdown in trust right there. And then you find out he wasn't cheating, he was just scared and embarrassed. So many guys tie their ego and identity to that stuff. Hiding it even from your wife makes a sad kind of sense. He was afraid she wouldn't see him as a man anymore. The best part of this whole thing though, they actually talked. Like, really talked. She owned her freakout, he owned his secrecy. They both realized they hurt each other, but they still loved each other enough to fix it. This is just a massive, tragic miscommunication. It shows you how important just talking is, even when it's about the most embarrassing stuff imaginable. Glad they're working on it. Alright, a quick update on the game. I'm almost dead, so I should probably eat something. Just gonna cook up this mutton real quick. I'm spreading it out over a few furnaces just to speed it up. Nothing worse than dying of starvation while your food is 2 seconds away from being cooked. It's time to move on to the next story of today. It is from the subreddit r/AmITheAsshole. It reads, "Am I the asshole for being willing to end my marriage because I refuse to uproot my kids from their life to follow my stepkids? My wife and I have been together for 4 years, married for almost 2. We both have kids. My daughter is 11 and my son is 9. We lost their mom when they were younger. My wife had been divorced for many years and shared custody of her 15 and 16-year-olds with her ex, until a few months ago when he was granted permission to move to another state with their kids, because their kids wanted to go with their dad. My wife doesn't want to be away from her kids for long periods of time, and she has told me she's moving. She feels like she needs to be near her kids. I support this, but I won't move my kids away from family, friends, and stability to do this. My kids don't want to move either. They heard my wife mention it several weeks ago, and they told me they don't want to leave. They'd miss everyone too much. I already know the life my kids have here is what they need and where they thrive. I explained this to my wife, and she was defeated. She told me we can't make a marriage work if I'm here and she's there. And I said I agree. And I told her I believe the best way forward would be to divorce. She was upset by this, of course, and we talked and I comforted her. And she asked me if there was anything she could say or do to make me reconsider. I told her I won't move my children, and I would never ask her to be apart from her kids for months at a time. I said we're both committed to the best interest of our individual children, and that means doing what's right for them, even if it's not right for us as a couple. She asked for us to talk it out some more, and we have. We've talked about it extensively. But all the while she has been making arrangements for a place where her ex and kids now live and a new job. I think she believed I would change my mind the more we discussed everything, but I have not. And now she's angry that I would rather our marriage end than move so we can all be together as a family. But I know this is not what's best for my kids. Am I the asshole? This is just an impossible situation. So his wife's older kids move, and she wants to follow them. Totally understandable. But his younger kids already lost their mom. And he's supposed to just uproot them from everyone and everything they know? Look, I get her wanting to be with her kids, but they're 15 and 16. They're almost grown, and they chose to move. His kids are 9 and 11. They've already been through the trauma of losing their mother. Stability isn't just a nice to have for them. It's everything. You are not the asshole. Not even close. This isn't choosing your kids over marriage. This is just being a good dad. Your primary job is to protect your children, and after what they've been through, protecting their stability is the job.
This is just tragic. It's a no-win situation. It sounds like two decent people trying to do what's best for their own kids, and those paths just don't line up anymore. Sometimes that's just how it is. No bad guys, just sadness.
Now we're moving close to the end of the video. So here's another story from the subreddit r/amItheasshole. It reads, "Am I the asshole for telling my in-laws we're getting divorced because my wife cheated on me, since they thought I was leaving her because of her weight? I am a 35 male who thought I was getting everything I ever wanted with my wife, 35 female, when we were in our late 20s. I truly love her, both when she was thin and now that she's plus-sized. She became plus-sized during her pregnancy, and I was still hot for her, but she hated her new body and she felt ugly, despite all my compliments. Over the years, she gained more weight and felt worse about herself. More recently, she cheated on me. She had felt so low about herself, she wanted to see if men who didn't have to love her would find her sexy. I didn't have to love her, because we have a child together. I love her because she's her. We're getting a divorce, and I wanted the process to be peaceful. But my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, 57 female, were giving me hell because they thought I was this shallow jerk who was leaving his wife because she gained weight during pregnancy. I was confronted by her parents. Again, I told them the truth. Now my in-laws are giving my wife hell, and she's miserable. I don't want her to be miserable. I just wanted my in-laws off my case. Am I the asshole?
Man, this is a rough one. So let me get this straight. You're getting a divorce because she cheated on you, but her parents think it's because she gained weight and are making you out to be the bad guy. That's... wow. Look, I get her insecurity, I really do. That's a tough thing to go through. But cheating because you feel bad about yourself, that's a decision she made. A really hurtful one. Like, what else were you supposed to do? Just sit there and let them tear your reputation apart based on a lie? You were backed into a corner. It sucks that her family is giving her hell now, it really does. But they're the ones who pushed you to that point by making assumptions. You're not the asshole here, man. You just told the truth. This whole situation is just sad. There are no winners. Alright, I gotta take a minute and just clean out my inventory. It's a complete disaster. I've been saying I need to do this. I'm just hoarding all this junk, and I have no space for anything I actually need. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Alright, it's the last read for today. It is from the subreddit r/traumatizedthemback. It reads, "The time I traumatized a nosy neighbor with kindness and boredom. This happened years ago. Me and my wife rented a small single-room flat on the top floor of an old townhouse. A nice arrangement for a young couple, except for the lady living below us. She was a real thorn in our side. We immediately started off on the wrong foot because barely a week after we moved in, she knocked on our door to inform us that our toilet was leaking through her ceiling. She dragged us into her apartment to show us the wet ceiling. She was always polite, a seemingly nice lady in her 50s, but somehow full of vitriol. This was a serious problem, and the owners were out of town, so we apologized and arranged a plumber immediately to prevent further damage. The plumber had to break our bathroom floor to check, and there was no leak anywhere. The building manager years later candidly told us that she does this with every new tenant. Maybe to establish some kind of dominance or to collect insurance, who knows. After that, she frequently stopped us to complain about everything. You are stomping too loud. We had carpet everywhere. You hammered all day. We put together a small IKEA cabinet in like 15 minutes on an afternoon. Stuff like that. She also liked to complain about other residents. XY over there is selling drugs, you know. At one time we had a friend over and she knocked to check if I was at home or if my wife was cheating on me. She was a general menace for 2 years, even though we kept the conversations polite and jovial at all times. The only thing she did not complain about was our cat. Instead, she creepily insisted that our totally indoor and neutered female cat is the bride-to-be for her male cat that roamed the halls all the time.
At one time, she stopped me in front of our door. Yes, she just happened to climb the stairs there, and started to explain something, and casually asked where I was born. Yeah, she was racist too, although never against us. And I noticed that she was not interested in the answer in the least, and the plan was formed. I started to tell her everything about me in excruciating detail. Where I was from, how I was born. I was a miracle baby, you know? What happened to me when I was 3, how I felt during historic events in my childhood. All in a happy and confidential tone, like we are good friends. Just a torrent of boring personal details and good vibes. I noticed she took a step down the stairs. I took a step down too. She wanted to interrupt, so I started another tangent. When we reached the landing on the stairs, I positioned myself in front of her. I kept her for almost an hour. When I ran out of stories, I started to just make shit up on the spot. When I let her go, we had already inched to her apartment door. I assured her that this conversation was so great that she can expect more riveting tales from me in the future. Next time we met in the hallway, I went out of my way to look happy and jogged over to her to chat. But sadly, she had urgent grocery shopping to do. Next time, my face lit up as I saw her and waved. She just fled back into her home. My plan was a glorious success. I scared her away with kindness and boredom for good. She never really bothered us after that. She never risked another story hour with me. We lived there for a couple of years after that. We even got our poor cat out of her arranged marriage. This is absolutely genius. Weaponizing small talk and life stories? That's next level petty revenge right there. The fake toilet leak thing with every new tenant? What a piece of work. Some people just live to make others miserable, I swear. Yes, this is my kind of revenge. Killing them with kindness and excruciating boredom. The fact that it worked so well that she literally started running away when she saw him? Mission accomplished. Sometimes the best way to deal with toxic people is to be aggressively nice until they can't handle it. And honestly, this is way better than escalating into actual conflict. No one got hurt, no property was damaged. She just learned to leave them alone through pure social exhaustion. We even got our poor cat out of her arranged marriage. The perfect ending. This guy turned being annoying into an art form, and I'm here for it. And that's the end of it. Another wild ride through the internet's worst decisions. If you made it this far, you're a real one. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Just click the button. It's free. It helps me out. Do it. Anyway, thanks for chilling with me. I appreciate you all more than you know. See you next time.